All
All right,
right.
we're recording.
All right. Welcome everybody to MVP Office Hours. My name is Jared Kingston. I'm one of the leaders. I'm joined today by Jackie Trevieso. Jackie, you want to say hi?
Hey, everyone. Glad to hear your voices on this Friday. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. All right. So, we're also uh, helped out by Dale Ziegler, um, who's in Kansas City with me and fighting off sickness before Dreamforce. So, hopefully, he can get through that quickly. All right. Well, as we get started here, one of the things we like to do with MVP Office Hours at the start is cover all the upcoming events. And you guessed it, Tuesday technically, but I'll be there Monday. So Dreamforce is next week, and hopefully we'll see a lot of you there. We have brand spanking new stickers that we'll be handing out that are bigger and better than ever. So look forward to seeing you guys out there. And then a whole bunch of other events right after Dreamforce to check out. To note, several Dreamin' events that are going to take place. So definitely take a look at those and consider checking them out. All right, let's go to
And Jared, if I
anything
can
else.
just share with everybody, I added a new link to the bottom of our screen here, admin.salesforce.com/Dreamforce18. That is, for those who are going to Dreamforce but haven't really gotten an idea of campus and what they need to do and what they need to know. And if you've got connectivity on your plane ride, this one might be a good resource for everyone to check out, just to kind of get some additional information and preparation before you hit Dreamforce running. And then after that, if you haven't heard about our global gatherings, those are going to be hitting the community within a couple of weeks after Dreamforce. For those who haven't been able to attend Dreamforce, but there may be some content at these events that you did not see at Dreamforce, so this is kind of the next best thing to get caught up on some of the announcements and things like that. So watch for those in your local community. That's it, Jared.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so just a quick overview. If this is your first time, and for those of you who have been on before, we hold this the first and third Friday of every month, and so our next call will be on the 5th. Yeah, and that registration link there is one that I would recommend bookmarking. It never changes. We'll always update it to the next date after this session so that you can go ahead and register. It's open Q&A. So, we'll take questions, and, if you're an MVP, if you're not MVP, doesn't matter. We're here to try to help people out. So, we'll help answer and give pointers to the questions that are asked. And since we record this and post it out to the community Twitter, we just ask you mute if you're not talking, so that way we can hear everything. And if you need to ask questions, you just simply raise your hand in the meeting, or sometimes we'll have dead space and we'll just ask people to speak up. And we'll post some resources in the chat, as well as record them here in this PowerPoint and share those out. And hey, if we need to dive into it, share your screen, and we'll walk through it. And we always like to point out that we have a site, mvpofficehours.info, and this gives you all the information you need to know about MVP Office Hours, all the different groups that we have, because this is just the US one, and we have several others that are currently running. And it also allows you to subscribe to those different email lists. So if you want to just get notified in your email of each session and signing up, you can do that. And we'll get you an email with that registration. So definitely check that out there. Got a lot of great information out there.
And if I can just say, don't be afraid to join the Portuguese group. Carlos does a fantastic job of translating English to Portuguese, and it's a fun time. So if you get a chance, I would recommend you sign up and attend one of their calls as well, because it is good.
Awesome. All right, and then next week at Dreamforce, as I said, looking forward to seeing you guys. Here's one way that you can connect with us. We're going to have a MVP Office Hours live at the Trailblazer Community Campfire in Moscone West. And it's going to be at 11:30 on Wednesday. So, and it's just 20 minutes. So these are very informal sessions. So definitely, make sure you come hit us up there. We'll have stickers there if you'd like a MVP Office Hour sticker, and we'd love to just say hi. So definitely come to our session on Wednesday.
Yes, we definitely want to put voices with faces and meet everybody. So hopefully you guys can all stop by.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun last year, so looking forward to it. All right, so I think that's all the the preamble that I have for you. So let's go ahead and get started. Who has the first questions? Got some heavy hitters on, I see.
And please don't be afraid to speak up.
Hey, it's Pat. How are you?
Hey Pat.
Sorry, I haven't been on the call in the last couple of weeks. For some reason, it dropped off my my calendar, but I'm glad to be back. Just wanted to mention at Dreamforce session that both Jared and I will be presenting in. You know what I'm talking about, Jared?
Yeah.
Yeah, on Thursday, we're both pitching for the Lightning Ready app pitch contest. Thursday at 10:30 in the Lightning Rapids Theater, which is Moscone West 2. I think Moscone West 2 is all lightning all the time. And so this is the pitch contest. There's 6 apps that are being pitched, and Jared's pitching one and I'm pitching one.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be fun to see all the presentations because each of us has 4 minutes to give you our best spiel about the apps we've built. So
I've been practicing like crazy.
Yeah.
And what is the official name of it so that we can go check it out on the agenda builder and add it to our agendas?
I think you've almost got it. Lightning Ready app. Whoa,
Sorry about that.
Lightning Ready app pitch contest.
Pitch.
Yep. Yeah, and you'll notice there's 2 there and that's just why they did that for reservation standpoint. So
yeah, it's like a 40-minute session, but their standard template is 20-minute sessions, so they just book back-to-back sessions. It actually goes from 10:30 till like 11:15 or something.
Yeah.
Okay. And was there a specific room number?
It's the Lightning Rapids Theater. It's one of those open theaters up on Moscone West 2.
Okay, fantastic. That'll be fun.
Yeah, maybe you should put Moscone West 2nd floor. It's not a room number 2, just 2nd floor.
Thank you. And if you guys haven't figured out, I'm doing the tech today, so I'm not as stellar as Dale. So please correct me if I've got something incorrect on our screen. All right, thank you for that, Pat.
You bet. And let me just take a moment and thank all the MVPs. Thank you guys for all the help that I got as I was developing this app. It got listed about 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks ago on App Exchange, and I've got a customer, and things are going well, but I couldn't have done it without all the help from the community, and so thank you.
Oh, that's fantastic. Hashtag problem solving together, right?
That's right. That's right. I mean, I've never gone to school for computer science or programming, so I claim to be self-taught, but anybody that's in the community knows that nobody is really self-taught. You're taught by everybody else in the community.
Group taught. That's a good one. I like that.
That's
Very
right.
cool. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Looks like Marty's got a question. Marty, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Sure.
Thank you. Quick question. If anyone has any experience with Inbox, with Outlook, a salesperson is claiming all of a sudden that they are no longer seeing their emails appearing in their Outlook that they've sent. Anybody has any insights? They're checking their settings. Other than that, nothing has changed to my knowledge that would do this.
I don't have any direct experience with it, but just in terms of general syncing things up, I would rather than just checking the settings, I would clear them out and then put them back in there in case something got corrupted in the settings.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
The old standard tech support, turn it off, turn it back on.
Exactly.
We are using this feature on production with about 500 users.
Uh-huh.
We haven't seen this issue that you're describing, at least in the last week or so. I don't know if we reported, I haven't seen anything reported today, but this is Igor, by the way. That's just, if you know what I'm talking. What I know about this Outlook, and it's not really a sync. So the new features with Einstein and Inbox that you're referring to actually no longer syncing emails really. It's actually giving you real-time view into what's in the inbox. But Inbox is hosted outside of Salesforce, so you no longer have your emails in Salesforce as they used to be before. So it's actually effectively your Outlook 360 or whatever you're using, Google, are actually peeking into the AWS storage somewhere in the infrastructure of Salesforce, which is Inbox is supported by. So my guess is if you're not seeing something, if you're suddenly cut off from something, I would look into networking infrastructure and see if there's any changes been made or any kind of firewalls have been changed on your organization level.
Great info. Thank you very much.
And that whole thing about turn it off, turn it back on applies to so many other things too.
Yeah.
If for some reason that works. I had an unscheduled report, or I had a scheduled report that just stopped running. It reached the expiration date. And so we advanced the expiration date, and then it no longer fired. I had to unschedule it and then reschedule it. Completely different, but still on the turn it off, turn it back on topic. Just wacky. Thank you for that, Igor
Thank you very much.
and Pat.
You bet.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question. Is anybody else using VS Code as your IDE?
I use that.
Yeah, so just a strange thing that has been happening to me occasionally is, and I often will have a couple of projects, like a couple of different windows open in VS Code, and sometimes when I'm doing a push or something, it just sort of freezes. It doesn't do anything. I mean, the app doesn't freeze up, but it just won't make that connection to a scratch org. And I found that I have to actually quit the app and sometimes even restart my computer, and then it goes back. I don't know. Is that a bug you've seen?
Is that you're talking about the doing pushes and pulls with DX plugins?
Yeah.
Is that, no?
Yeah. With
And you in Mac or Windows?
Mac.
Okay. Yeah, I have not seen this. I mean, I have seen some issues with that, but typically with developer tools, like anything else, I just restart and move on.
Yeah.
I don't spend a lot of time trying to figure out what specifically might be going wrong on my internet connectivity or network that I'm on. It's just a waste of time. I think it's easier to just restart, and if it works.
That's what I've been doing, but I don't know if it's related to having multiple windows open. This didn't used to happen to me, and it just started, so I don't know. It might be the new.
Yeah, they made some number of updates to these. I'm sure you probably uploaded them. All of the plugins were updated. In fact, like fairly recently. Like I guess it's preparing for Winter 19.
Yeah.
So that could be related to some of these plugins, and they might release patches later. But
okay.
So it's not an issue I have seen, but I'm not like in last week or so, I'm not doing very active development on it. So that might be also a reason.
Okay, thanks.
All right, great conversation there. Next up is Marcel. Marcel, I'm going to unmute you.
Hi, Jackie. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you on the call.
Thanks. Hey, thank you. I know Jackie and I have been on several emails together talking about Drawloop. So I am just interested to see if anybody on this call has any CLM experience, contract lifecycle management with redlining of documents. Jackie and I both use Drawloop in our organizations. And actually, Jackie, I just took a look at their workflow product that they have that actually does redlining. But if anybody does, I'd be more than happy to pick your ear next week at Dreamforce.
Is anyone on the call using DrawLoop or?
any redlining product like SpringCM, Aptus, Conga, any of those guys?
The only thing, this is Jared. So the only thing I would say, I don't necessarily have experience, but I know when I was at Apereo, we were partnering with Conga for that, and Conga at the time had just acquired a product that was actually, I believe, based in Indy for that very thing, for contract lifecycle management. I forget the name of the product, but there were several people that came from that company to Apereo and raved about that redlining product for contracts and how it worked. And so
Okay.
I think that's something that's definitely worth checking into because it looks
Awesome.
like, you know.
Okay, sounds great. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to definitely be spending some time out on the vendor floor looking at the different products that are available.
Yeah.
And the only follow-up suggestion that I have, and this is my suggestion for anybody working with any of the third-party vendors, is ask your questions, ask the question again, ask the question a different way, because you start to get various answers based on their understanding of the question and what you think you're asking. And it really helps facilitate the conversation. So ask your questions 6 different ways.
Jackie, I have to agree with you. Thank you for that suggestion that you gave the other day, because over the past few weeks that I've been talking to a few of these folks, sometimes the sales reps don't actually understand the product as in depth as that we need them to. And sometimes you need to definitely ask those questions a multitude of times, different ways.
Absolutely. And then to follow up, if you've got a bunch of customization that you need done that's kind of out of the norm of the product, and they say that they can build it, have them build it in your sandbox before you sign a contract. You need a proof
Agreed.
of concept that one, they understand what you're asking, they understand your requirements, and that they've got an engineer who's actually delivering it, as opposed to a salesperson, promising what they think it can do, and maybe they don't haven't connected all of the dots. So
I can definitely concur. We went through a process with another company I won't mention on the call, but you should include in your contract also that maybe there's a time frame that if they're using a professional services team to help you, that the product be in a sandbox, and that you have a date that it has to be live or even proven concept in your sandbox before even moving to production. So otherwise you can get stuck inside of a contract and have to get legal people involved. So been through that once. So I can definitely give some, we've definitely been there. So
absolutely. And if they give you pushback, don't be afraid to stand your ground. You're responsible for whatever the project is. So make sure that you're working with a vendor who's going to support you in the success of that project. All right. Thank you so much, Marcel.
I have a question on Lightning. If anybody knows some of the stuff related to Lightning and knowledge authoring and communities. I know that currently community does not support knowledge editing by community users. It only supports like read and view and stuff like that. And I know that the release notes indicates that you can build custom components to enable that functionality. But I'm just curious if anybody heard anything or know of some ways of being able to let community users edit knowledge article or author them.
I don't, but I have a recommendation of somebody, an expert that could help you with that. Philip Weinmeister.
Yeah. Spoken with Philip.
Okay.
Before, yes.
And if he wasn't able to give you the answer, then I don't know.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and that would be my thought as well. I don't know of anything right now, Igor, that allows you to do that without getting really custom.
Yeah, okay. I'm kind of looking forward to going to Dreamforce and trying to hit some of the people on product management team for that and ask them some of these details as well to see what's on the roadmap if they have that recently or it's definitely not on Winter 19. So I'm just curious if it's going to be like in a future release or ever.
Jared, do you know who the product manager might be for communities?
Yeah, it's a David Green, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Who else has a question? Oops, sorry about that. My screen just. I don't see any hands up in the chat.
I'll throw out anybody going to Dreamforce that has questions about Dreamforce.
Do we know yet who the opener is for Metallica?
Ooh. Have not heard.
Hopefully a band from this millennium. I'm sorry. I'm being a little snarky. Just got to say it.
Totally fair.
I have to say, I'm on all these webcasts, as I know many of you are, the Salesforce different teams putting on it. And there's all these 20 and 30-something girls that are leading these. I don't mean to, 20 and 30-something women. I'm an old guy, so I think of them as girls, sorry. But, to hear them sort of promoting everything at Dreamforce with the great enthusiasm, and they promote Metallica as if they know who they are, and it's funny.
Well, I think Metallica's been the last year and coming in this year as well. That's probably a tribute to personal friendship between Benioff and the drummer.
Yeah, Lars. I think they're neighbors.
Yeah, they're neighbors. That's what I've heard. I don't know, but that's what I've heard. That they are kind of living in close proximity.
Yeah, I think that's, when Benioff complained about the loud drumming over in the garage, he said, yeah, well, you know what, we'll play your event.
Oh, that'd be funny. Is there anything that everyone is excited about at Dreamforce that may not be on everybody's agenda? Anything we should highlight?
I'm excited about the fact that I see this year compared to last year, great resurgence of mobile interest and effort. And I wonder if that has to do with certain statistics and some of the numbers that's coming back, how mobile is impacting the retail industry and actual revenues in the companies, where if you're not mobile, you like going down. And if you are mobile, then you just keep climbing. And so I wonder if that has to do with it, because last year I actually posted a couple of sessions, like 1 or 2 sessions I proposed to do mobile stuff, and they were not selected. And this year I see like a whole list of mobile related sessions, from custom development to Lightning to my Salesforce to my community, whatever, everything like mobile seems like.
Do you think that can be attributed to Lightning? Any new features, functionalities, or capabilities?
Yeah, they're certainly impacted by Lightning, but Lightning isn't the only thing. I mean, there are specific talks by Salesforce as well as by evangelists, and also like individual people like myself and others who will be speaking on mobile topics or related to mobile, either SDK or like implementing Salesforce Mobile in their organizations and customizing and that sort of thing. But it's just interesting to me that literally like 2 years ago, and even before that in 2015 and so on, there was been kind of a focus on mobile. And when they released Salesforce 1, it was like, oh, mobile. And then suddenly, like 2016 was kind of the last year, and then 17 was like nothing mobile. It was like another session of mobile. And then also not really big effort on IoT as well. That's also kind of fell off the grid. And then last year, they had some robotics and some IoT resurgence. And this year they have mobile and robotics continue. So I think it's a good indication that they're continuing being dedicated to the technology and the focus is back in where I think it should have been, and people should be developing. It's not like, oh yeah, mobile just assumed it automatically happens. Nothing automatically happens, even in Lightning.
That's the truth.
Yeah, regardless of Salesforce may tell you, they might, it just works. Nothing just works, especially when you have JavaScript and CSS.
Jackie, this is Marcel. I've got
Yes.
one more question for the group. Is there anybody on this call that's got XAuthor for Excel, which is a plugin written by Aptus, past experience? Or know anybody?
I'm sure we could put you in touch with somebody on the Aptus team.
Oh, I can definitely. Well, I've been there, done that. So
Okay.
yeah, I was just curious if anybody here. We can just talk offline, but I'll find somebody at Dreamforce, I bet.
Is this something that you're just beginning to investigate, or?
Oh
what type
no,
of-
I've already built an app in XAuthor that we currently run in our production environment. So just wanted to kind of have some offline conversations. It's APTTUS is how they spell
Oh,
the company name. So you're close though. I spell it the same way. I always wrong too. So
Sounds like a
worries.
band.
Thank you guys.
A bad branding decision on their part.
Yeah, their company actually just got bought by. They used to be private, and just last week got announced they got bought by an investment company. So it'll be interesting to see what is going on.
What does
I guess the other thing, is there anybody on this call that maybe has Salesforce connected to Marketo? Anybody out there?
Yeah, Marketo just got bought by Adobe.
Yeah, they just
did.
announced
I
that.
saw that.
Yeah, we use Marketo in our project, the Marketo and Salesforce, and they're linked together.
Okay.
Yes. Unfortunately, but yes.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I feel too. Okay. All righty. You've answered my question.
You must be using the biggest issue or sort of a track I have with Marketo is that we worked through them with implementation, and the team that we have in place have very, very strong sort of lineage towards just using standard out-of-the-box connectivity, and that gives them that limits you into a very, very specific box that Marketo supports, and you really cannot do anything. I mean, the only thing you can do is really manage leads and campaigns. So you can look at accounts, you can look at opportunities maybe if they let you. And that's it. You can't write to opportunity. You can't touch the account. You can't touch data very well. The Marketo Sync also has many, many, many restrictions in terms of data fields. And so that's kind of creates a nightmare for managing that stuff.
Yeah, we currently only have our syncing set up so that Marketo can only sync if we have a checkbox located on certain record on our contacts and leads, and it can only sync to those records. And if it has any brand new records, that all gets dumped into our leads. But we really only truly have one-way syncing, and that's Salesforce writes to Marketo unless we allow it to write back. So you're correct. There are some limitations, and they don't have a booth at Salesforce this year. They haven't had one in a number of years. They had rented out there was that outside restaurant right next door to Moscone a few years back that they had, but they're not even doing that. So
yeah, I mean,
I'm just wondering.
One of the things about they have Marketo Sync, which is basically what does the data synchronization. Yep. And the biggest issue I've seen with it over the last 2 years that we've been using it, it's basically we tend to update metadata on like literally daily basis. We adding fields left and right on a daily basis over the last 2 years across the data model. And some of this stuff may need to go to Marketo. If it does, it's a big problem because Marketo does not see any of these changes unless we do a massive global edit sync. Like basically we have to create an edit event for no reason, just so the Marketo can see these records and can see new metadata and new stuff. It's just like hassle.
Yep. it is an admin nightmare. I agree. All right. Well,
And,
thanks. I was thinking I was the only one experiencing this, but obviously there's other people. So
this conversation around Marketo and some of the other third-party vendors reminds me to share one more of my best practices. When you're contracting with these third-party vendors, make sure that your contract covers your exit strategy, what they're going to do to support you if and when the day comes that you decide to end your contract with them. Because standard is they're just going to be, okay, fine. Then you're on your own to move the data, uninstall, stop syncs, unravel all of it. And you may need some assistance in turning off some things or adjusting some things. So it's a good idea to address that before you sign a contract.
I'm actually curious if anybody on the call has experience with other things other than Marketo, like Marketing Cloud perhaps as an alternative, and how much better or worse that thing is, because I don't know. I haven't touched Marketing Cloud as far as production goes.
Jared, have you worked with Marketing Cloud?
I have not worked with Marketing Cloud. It's kind of one of those things that's on my learning path, if you will, by the end of the year to learn more about it.
I was very interested in learning about Marketing Cloud, but the challenge is that they didn't really have it integrated into Trailhead. So the only way you can learn about it is if you've got a license to it.
Yeah, that's the same problem with Pardot, I believe, too, right?
Yeah.
Pardot, Marketing Cloud, they're both that similar situation, and probably Commerce Cloud too, like the commerce engine.
Yeah, any of the ones that they acquire that aren't really sort of native Salesforce platform, they don't have very well integrated into Trailhead. They've got the sort of the pithy modules around what it does, or who would use it, all of that, but there's no hands-on.
Yeah, the basics. You're talking about the basics, like to learn about the actual products and stuff, more like a introductory.
Yeah, I've complained to every time I go to Trailhead DX or to Dreamforce, I've complained to the team, the Marketing Cloud team, and they're like, yeah, we know, sorry.
Well, knowing is half the battle, right?
I guess, but it's a big investment for somebody to figure out how technically to integrate the functionality into something that can be checked. I think the verification issue.
And this might be a good opportunity for somebody to put something out on ideas and then socialize that, get some momentum behind it, or that those might already be things that are out there. But if we can socialize it and get some traction, then they usually respond to polite squeaky wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if they actually able to build that, because I know that Trailhead playgrounds or developer orgs, these are spin-off, kind of like your sandboxes. Yeah. So they're really your Salesforce thing. But when you're talking about Pardot or Marketing Cloud or Commerce Cloud or these other add-ons, or CPQ for that matter, these things architecturally don't live in Force.com infrastructure. They live somewhere else. Some of them may live in Heroku. Some of them may live in AWS as an infrastructure architecture, and the whole engine lives there. The whole application lives over there. And all you see in your Salesforce is really a small UI package that sort of like interacts with it via APIs and brings you some information back and forth. It's like an integration, kind of an integration or deep integration into that. And so that's kind of a problem, because like even if you did do that, for example, you would not be able to actually do the whole setup, right? Because if it lives outside of your org, then it's kind of hard to replicate that again.
That does make a lot of sense, though.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that, Igor. All right, anyone else have a question or a topic? Or a thought or a lesson learned?
No, I'll just share, since I'm local to Dreamforce. I live right across the bay. The weather here is going to be really nice, warmer than last year. Last year was later. I think it was in October, right? So the weather during the days is usually around 70 degrees. You're not likely to get any rain, so it should be nice.
That's great news. And don't forget that the inside sessions do get chilly, so bring a sweater.
Yeah, layers. Yeah, if you dress right for the indoor keynote sessions, then you'll be fine outside at any time of day.
All right, thank you for that, Pat.
You bet.
Oh, actually, I for those who have extensive experience in Dreamforce, this year I looked at a campus map, and it's like all over San Francisco, even more than previous years. Like there's hotels everywhere where the sessions is going to be. Do they have any sort of like way to get to places? Because I know, I mean, if everything is around Moscone, that's okay. But if you have to go to like Palace or somewhere like way out there, further along, I don't know if they have any kind of shuttle that goes.
They've had shuttles in the past, and I was just going to bring up the app to see. Hey, has everybody downloaded the app to their mobile devices? Speaking of, I was just going to bring that up and see if they had anything on there.
No, I'll tell you and you may know this from prior experience, but I know they're going to have shuttles. They always have the shuttles that are going to the hotels and all of that. As far as getting to sessions, if the session is at the Nico or over at the Hilton, which are kind of the ones that I think are the furthest ones out, it's faster to walk it than to wait for a shuttle.
Yeah.
It's not. It looks like it's far on a map, but it's city blocks. It's not that big a deal. It takes about maybe 10, 15 minutes, depending on where you're coming from and going to. But Hilton to Moscone is maybe a 10-minute brisk walk. Are there sessions? Did you say there's sessions somewhere else?
There's a session. So the reason I asked is because there's a sessions in the Palace Hotel, which is like close to Embarcadero Center. Like close to the water over there.
Yeah, that's not far.
That's as far as I know. I think it's about 20-minute walk to Moscone.
Yeah, maybe if you walk slow through the crowds, it's not bad.
Yeah, and it just happens to be like kind of closely to my own session that I need to speak at.
Yeah, well, leave time, but Embarcadero is not that far. I frequently get off at the Embarcadero BART station to walk over to Moscone. So it's,
Yeah, no, I mean, I know on a regular day and a regular situation, yeah, but if you kind of in a rush.
Yeah.
So be sure that you check out the transportation tab in the app. I started to write this in here for you guys. So they don't run all day long. So the first one on Tuesday runs from 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then picks up again at 4 p.m. to 8:30. And then those times do vary through the rest of the week. Those are the hotel shuttle services.
Yeah. If you, in terms of getting back and forth to sessions though, unless you've got a disability or something, walking is going to be faster than taking a shuttle.
Yeah. Also, I think it might be worth it to download one of those bird apps and have a scooter picked up. There's a bunch of these scooters flying around the city. I wonder how many of them will be available at Dreamforce, but
I don't know. That sounds like a nightmare.
You also have the option of pedicabs and bike valet. It's complimentary and is located just behind Moscone South on 3rd Street. So if you are brave enough to get on a bike and ride the streets of San Francisco, check in with us on the next call. Make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, I'm not bringing a bike on the airplane.
No, there are bikes, lots of bikes downtown that you can just.
Oh, the rent ones. Okay.
Yeah, these are just grab and goes. They're going to be complimentary.
I don't know. This is the dad in me, having raised a kid that liked to ride scooters and bikes. We had a very strict rule about helmets, and so the idea of riding around on a bike or a scooter in downtown San Francisco without a helmet is crazy.
They also do give you in the app the BART, the Muni, and the Caltrans links. So just in case you need to go beyond the local campus.
Yeah, where's everybody staying? Is everybody in San Francisco?
Yeah.
I'm down near the bay, so I can ride the streetcar if I needed to.
There you go. Yeah, I was just going to say, I live over in the East Bay, so BART works great.
Yeah. I wouldn't dare ride a bike down to my hotel from Moscone.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Hey, quick question about the app. I can't find the transportation tab. I'm using the iPhone app.
Okay. On the bottom part, the ribbon where you've got iPhone or info with the little I.
Yeah.
You see that? Okay, click that, and then the fourth one down, there's a transportation.
Got it. Thanks.
You got it. I'm really impressed with this app this year. It seems to be much more organized and really easy to get around in.
Yeah, I looked at the app, kind of traveled through some of these navigation menus and stuff. I see that this year, or it might have been there before, I haven't noticed it before, that they do have an event help chatter, which is basically a SOS video chat that they've integrated into the app, or it seems that way. Doesn't work right now, but probably will be available during Dreamforce, I'm assuming.
Very cool.
Might be able to actually video chat with some of the Salesforce Trailhead people. I don't know.
Absolutely. Be sure that you go into the Stay Connected tab. They give you the wireless details so that you can use Wi-Fi. And
have
there's
we heard how many people? I'm sorry, Jackie.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Have we heard how many people are going to be there this year?
They're claiming 170,000.
I'm actually
Wow.
curious.
Is there any chance
I'm
that we could
curious
divide
about-
the event up into like east and west one of these days? It's just so many people downtown.
Well, they do the community events for one thing that's put on by the community, and then they do their road shows. I can't remember what they call them now. World tours.
Right.
So
Yeah, I've
there's,
actually spoken at one, so here
Okay.
in the Houston area. Yep.
so I think that, and then they've got the Trailhead DX. But I really don't, and this is just my personal opinion, I don't see them breaking apart Dreamforce.
Now that they do have their Salesforce World Tours,
Yeah.
and that's the idea, is to take it to other places. You know, basically it's trying to reach more people than would get there. I don't think even if they had I don't know, the executive time, cost aside, the executive time involved in doing a second one would be prohibitive, I believe.
And I think we always want to be bigger than Oracle World, right?
I'm actually curious with this app, with the events app, and I don't know from previous Dreamforce, but I wonder what they're going to do in this one. How do all the different events, typically they send like push notifications and all that. Are they going to do this with Salesforce mobile app or with this events app? Like, would you get something happening or some things are occurring at Dreamforce, or maybe some schedule changes or something they want to announce to people? Would you think they'll be pushing the push notifications into the events app, or do we have to somehow connect Salesforce mobile to like some?
No, that'll go into the events app, because in order to get a push notification from Salesforce mobile, they would have to be connected to your org,
Right.
and they're not doing that integration. So it'll all come through the events app.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have to, I'll second what Jackie said. Before I was a developer, for the last 30 years, I've been working in events marketing, doing major tech conferences like AWS reInvent and Salesforce, Dreamforce, and a number of other ones. And the event apps that typically are available are just horrible. I've hated them for years, and this one is actually good. I like it.
Well, I don't know. I can compare that to WWDC events, which is Apple conference for developers. Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
So the other thing that y'all can download is the Dream emoji, or Dreamoji, I guess is how you say it. So that, you know, when you don't have any words for the excitement that you're experiencing, you can do a little virtual sticker in wherever you're trying to communicate. It's cutesy, it's kind of fun, it's, you know, he gets, you know, pulled into it anyway. And it looks like they have a download for the Android too for that.
Yeah, I saw that, and I don't know, it doesn't seem to work very well.
Okay, I haven't downloaded the new one yet. If you haven't been to the Dream Store, that's kind of a really cool place to get some unusual swag. One of my favorite things, they took the banners from previous year's events and they made small little zipper bags out of them. If you think about like when you were in school, you had a pencil tote or what have you. So just like little small repurposed fabric zipper bags. And I thought that was the coolest thing. And if you don't get enough free t-shirts, you know, you can go buy some at the Dream Store. Oh. All right.
You know, I have a restaurant recommendation. I'm looking for the name of it now. I know exactly where it is, and I've been there a lot, but I can't just try and remember the name of it. It's a great Indian restaurant, and it's behind Moscone South, so further south than that. So if you just go down, it's on 3rd Street, the block south of Moscone, and for some reason, everybody, all the major crowd tends to stop right around Moscone South. They don't go further. And so if you need a quick meal, there's an Indian place just on the right side of the street, on the right side of 3rd Street. I'm sorry, I'm looking right now for the name of it. But for some reason, it doesn't get too crowded.
Fantastic. That's key.
Yeah.
And for the foodies on the line, I would love a recommendation for your best dessert place locally walking distance from within the campus.
Dessert place. I don't know.
Just if you happen to think about it, and you can shoot me a note on community, that'd be great. All right, looks like we've got about 10 minutes left on our scheduled time together. Does anyone else have a question or topic? Doesn't have to be Dreamforce related.
Hey, Jackie, do you know if Drawloop Nintex is doing a party anywhere? I haven't heard.
I don't know if they're doing a party. I know that they're supposed to have a booth.
They are. Yeah, I do know that. Okay.
Okay, I found the restaurant. It's
okay.
That corner. I'm going to put it in the chat. There we go.
Great. Okay. Oh, and I missed this. Scott had a question. Scott, I see that you're still on. Let me go ahead and pose this question, unless you guys had a conversation about it. I apologize for not having this part of my app open. Trial source demo orgs. Has anybody had any success getting these things up? Trial source, okay. Not just the primary free trial tied to your App Exchange listing, but the kind for which you create multiple source orgs, trial force templates, and HTML sign-up pages so that sales reps can create clean demo orgs on the fly.
Yeah, these are like basically you set up a template like you would for a Scratch org, and then you can launch fresh ones with data already populated and all of that. It's a great idea. I have not tried it yet. It's on my list of something that I probably should do for my app. Right now, I've just stuck with the demo org that's associated with App Exchange. Sorry.
Okay. Scott says, ha.
Yeah, that was a UPS truck that drove by. My dog loves them.
Let's see here. We had an idea to vote up, recommendation by Nick Lindberg. Hey, Nick, thanks for this. And I'm going to drop it in here. And let's just see if I can drop it here and we'll see what it is. Related to getting a dev account for Marketing Cloud. All right, so here it is. So y'all can go log in and vote her up. How old is this? 4 years ago. Oh, our good buddy Marty. So maybe we could socialize this as a group and see if we can't get these points up. It's in product review. We don't know when it went into product review, unfortunately. Or this, we'll post an update in 2 to 4 months, but we don't know from when.
Well, I think they're working on something with DX that probably be announced or already people been playing with, where you could basically mimic your developer org with a Scratch org, and you could work with your dev orgs just as you do with your Scratch orgs with some limitations. And I think the big push is being able to actually snapshot like a dev org or sandbox into a Scratch org, which currently that's not available. But if you can do that potentially, that could bring in the data and bring in all the information from the other org, that would solve that for this potentially.
Igor, can you explain to us what a Scratch org is?
Sure. I mean, I'm kind of assuming you guys are in Salesforce ecosystem. Everybody knows, but if not,
to be honest with you, this is the first time I'm hearing of Scratch org on this call.
Okay, so Scratch org is a new developer org that is tied to a DX environment, which is developer experience, and you interact with it with the command line or VS Code, your developer environment tools, and what it is really like any developer org, but it's short-lived. It's ephemeric. So in other words, I create a developer org. By default, it only lives 7 days. For example, when I work with Scratch orgs on my sprints, our sprints run 3 weeks. So I typically schedule my Scratch org to live at least 20 days. After 20 days, they disappear and all the work is gone. But what it gives me ability to do is automatically push and pull code from Scratch org, and any changes I make on that org also pullable into my source control. So essentially, any metadata I change on a Scratch org gets reflected, and my developer tool knows, or command line tool, which is DX in this case, knows that I made these changes. When I do source code pull, it pulls these changes onto my source drive. And then I can commit it to my source control, and that way everything that I do within Scratch org is kept in there. Now, the one drawback with the Scratch org, what I found was it's not easy to work when you have a pretty heavy org in existence, and you want to mimic that in a Scratch org, because Scratch org is empty. It has just basically your scaled down developer org with all the objects and everything, but none of your customization, none of your custom fields, custom record types, any validation rules, any of that stuff. You actually have to source control all that and be able to push that to a Scratch org. So it's easy, quick spin-off environments. And it's exactly what it is. It's temporary. You work on a feature, you create a new Scratch org. Another feature, you create a new Scratch org. And it's literally a command line, boom, you have a new org to work with just for that feature. And then you delete it. So
interesting. Well, very cool. Thank you for that explanation. I hope that was helpful to others as well.
Oh yeah, one other point on that is, just finished. So one of the nice part about it is DX also has test data import. So when you spin off a Scratch org, you can also automatically import test data, which is frequently what I do. I would script it out. So necessary scripting data that I need automatically will go into my lead, my opportunity, my custom object. And then when I'm ready to program, I'm ready to go. I don't have to like rebuild my records and figure it out.
Okay, very cool. Looks like we've got time for one last question from Brandon. Brandon, do you want to, let me just go ahead and unmute you. Okay,
Yep,
Brandon,
can you hear me?
go ahead. Yep, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm doing a very simple approval. I haven't done a lot with approvals. I've done a ton of other stuff. And so if I can just share my screen, I'll show you, unless you don't want to let me, which is fine. But it's either if there's non-standard terms and conditions, or if the total discount is greater than certain percentage. And for some odd reason, I can't seem to get it right. So
Okay, go ahead and share your screen.
Will do right now. And I cloned the current one that I have. So if we need to make changes in here, we can. So you can see the entry criteria is type equals new and current user equals client acquisition. So that's great, the roles. And then we lock it when it comes in. And so do you want me to just go through the approval steps, or what would you?
Well, let me ask you first. I see that this is not active.
Yep. Correct. This one is not active. So we can make changes and edits to it.
Great,
so the goal is that if the total discount is greater than 20% or it has non-standard terms, it goes, their manager has to approve. Otherwise, approve. And I think that's working great today. The challenge is that sometimes we'll get, so I guess, so then after that step, right, if it's greater than 20% and the manager approves, then it goes into this approval bucket. And what I guess I'm missing is sometimes it still ends up going into this bucket, the second bucket, even though it's not, it's less than 35% and there's no standard terms on it. So I don't know if I have the second step set up correctly. Does that make sense?
I'm looking here.
And if you need me to edit on some of these, so you can see the actual steps. Because I couldn't tell, like, the else approve or go to the next step is the right thing. Because then in the last step, you can't say approve, and I didn't know what to do with that, too. So.
Has anyone on the line worked with approvals? Let me ask that question first.
Yes, I have. Explain to me the issue again on this one.
Well, I guess, and I know we're running out of time, but like, does this appear to be a proper approval flow for the two items that I have set up? So that the manager approves it and it's 35%. It will go, the manager approves it, it then goes to the next step. The CFO would have to approve it, like if it was, 40%, sorry. So it would flow through this one, then this one, and then if she approves it here, it should be good, right?
Yep.
Okay. Should I create a separate approval process for non-standard terms and a separate for total opportunity discount? Pros and cons.
I mean, I don't think it's necessary per se. It's probably it may be cleaner that way, just so if you want to have a more just one approval process for terms and one for discounts. I think that way could be cleaner for you, especially as you think about adjusting that. And the other thing too, I guess, is, if you have both, non-standard terms and a discount percentage above the threshold, then do you want to be able to record that, hey, this approval was for both of these, right?
So then in that instance, would I have a field that would be non-standard terms approval that then gets switched to in process, rejected, et cetera, and then another field that would say total discount approval, approved, just, rejected, et cetera?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So that's kind of best practice. Because it's the documentation of the stuff is really tough. So I like that idea, because we're also going to get into line item discounts eventually. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, we're going to have greater structure around that. So
Yeah, and I think it'll be easier for you too, because then you think about just the tailored part of the whole approval process itself, right? Of the different steps and even the notifications that go out. Then your notifications can be more tailored to that specific process, right? So you can, so it doesn't necessarily have to be
email templates and everything else.
Exactly.
Good show. Perfect.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you very much. That
Yeah,
is,
no problem.
Very helpful. Appreciate you guys going over for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thanks for fielding that, Jared. All
Yeah.
right, we are definitely over our call time today. I hope that you all walked away with some good information, some things to think about, some best practices. And if you're going to be at Dreamforce, please look us up, find us, come say hello, introduce yourself. Again, because we'd love to put voices and faces together. So safe travels for those who are headed out to Dreamforce, and I hope to see you all next week. Otherwise, October 5th is our next call. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks, Jackie. Bye. Thanks, Jared.
Bye.
Thanks, Dale.
Thanks. See ya.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.